A couple years down the road, you smell on the air just barely. Like, let me back up. You get out of your car, right? You step onto a gravel parking lot, and you smell just like this roast, like something's being like meat is being cooked.
Love
You
it.
ever like drive through a neighborhood and you just smell somebody barbecuing?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You feel the crunch of the rocks beneath your feet as you walk through the parking lot. You see like a fence lined campground kind of place, like a big wooded space. You see the pristine white of the tents that sort of line the perimeter of the fence line once you're inside. You smell that something roasting on the air. You look up, you see smoke sort of billowing up through the trees in the distance.
Whoa.
You hear for the first time you hear like someone strumming a lute, right?
A
You
lute?
hear a lute, you hear the shake of a tambourine. You hear two voices in harmony singing a song you can't make out from the distance.
Hmm.
Once the music starts through the entrance in the fence, you see people sort of like run in the direction that you hear the sound. They're clapping, sort of skipping in that fashion, like
Okay.
towards that sound. As you get closer, you see somebody like sitting at a bench. They've got a jeweler's loop to their eye and they're working on a piece of leather.
What?
Yeah, they're like handling leather. They're like clearly like manipulating this leather. They're making something with like a piece of leather, right?
Okay.
They've got like a little stall where there's a bunch of like leather goods for sale, mostly like um a couple like leather chest piece type things, like vests, you know,
Cool.
wrappings for your hands and wrists. There's jewelry, things of that nature. You see a sort of well-trodden path lay out before you once you breach the fence line. And you look to your left and you see a guy just roasting a suckling pig over a flame.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's like spinning this thing by hand, right?
Whoa.
And you think, I'm going to get some of that later.
Absolutely.
And then as you're walking, you go to walk through to like enter in, and you hear somebody say, "Do you have a ticket, my lord?"
Oh no.
You look down, there's just like a big fat guy taking tickets at a table because you, my friend, are at the Ren Fair south of Austin.
Oh man. I was just talking about Ren fairs last night.
You're wearing like a long brown flowing robe, like a friar tuck, You're
Yeah.
like you're dressed like a monk.
Whoa.
And it's like I said, it's probably like 45, maybe 30 minutes south of Austin. So and it's we're based on where you live, it's like closer than it is for other people. Um, and you just wanted to go one weekend, you wanted to go. You found a Friar Tuck outfit. Tickets were cheap, and you just wanted to go and see what it was all about. You thought it'd be fun. Get real
Yeah.
stoned, walk around a Ren Fair. Are you kidding me?
Sure.
So that's what you do. You walk around, and man, you have like an incredible time. Like you've been on vacations, you've visited other places, you've
Yeah.
done things, but very few things are going to top this experience. The sense of community that you feel with everyone in there. Everybody's smiling, they're happy, they're joyful, they're having a good time. It's a big party, you know? It's
Yeah.
it's a really unique sort of section, just a moment in time where everybody's having a lot of fun. And because there's no judgment at a place like that, you know?
Yeah, how could there be?
Exactly. So everybody's kind
Huh.
of like the white person version of like letting your freak flag fly, you know?
Hell yeah. Okay. Sure.
Right?
So it's like freak flag flying for like,
Nerds, like,
yeah, the
yeah,
straights. Sure.
yeah,
Why not?
exactly. Yeah. People who like
Fuck
Game
it.
of Thrones, you know? The Game of Thrones to Ren Fair pipeline is undeniable at this point.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you know, you go through, you walk around, you see the shops, you get a fucking turkey leg, right? You get a turkey leg and you eat it in front of the roast pig tent, just
What?
waiting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're eating this turkey leg and you think this is only stage one. And you're like, I'm looking at stage two. You just take a big fucking bite right out of that turkey leg.
Wow.
The guy roasting the pig cuts the ear off, gives it to his dog.
Cool.
So you're just kind of standing there. Again, you have a great time, right? You play some games, you just kind of sit down at a table with you know, a little bit later on, you know, once the pig was done, you sit down with a little bit of cheek meat, some sides, right? You got a flagon of Diet Coke.
Sure.
They have like a fucking dispenser on site. It stands out like a sore thumb, you know, but they put like ivy leaves on it and stuff and like hay around the bottom of it, you know, that kind of shit.
All
They
right.
they
They're making
zhuzh it up.
effort. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
To
cool.
hide the technology as best they can. You have a great time, right? You spend the night. They have like little like cabins, and like you spent a little bit of money on this thing. You know, you're like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it right. You know, you get
Yeah.
up early the next morning. There's breakfast, there's shows, there's all kinds of shit. You have a great time.
How was stage two with that pig?
Mm.
It's fucking awesome. I
It's
bet.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sitting there watching it slowly roast in its own juices as it gets turned over an open flame. Yeah, you were the first one in line. The guy who was cooking it, when it was done, he like took 2 steps out and he just cupped his mouth and he yelled, "It's done." And then you heard the rumble of footsteps
Yeah,
quickly descending upon you, and you just got up off the table and you ran to be first in line.
sure.
So you know, you sit down, you have this great meal, you have a wonderful time. Everything you ate was great, everything you saw was great. You felt again just a real sense of community and fellowship. You met people, you exchanged social media stuff, you got phone number. Like it's
Yeah.
a thing that next time you come, the experience will be different because you'll expect to see certain people there, you know?
Yeah, I'll know people. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of like come back after that weekend, like just feeling fulfilled. It's one of those things that sort of just like recharges you. A really fun social experience can do that. And the Ren Fair is like running over the week and then into the next weekend as well, you know? So you think you're like, I'm not going to go out 2 weekends in a row. You don't want to like overdo it and you got to work, you know? So
Yeah.
you had the weekend off this time and you know, you scheduled this for like, you know, months ago. But you know, you're like, man, I wish I could go again, but you just can't. You got work. You're like, save it for next time, you know. But the thought all week is like, man, maybe I should go back. You know, you really honestly kind of wrestle with it throughout the week.
I
You
wrestle
see
with it.
that, you see that fucking friar's robe hanging on the back of your door. You see the wooden mug that you bought from a stall. You watched the guy carve it over the course of the weekend and he lacquered it right there.
Mm.
You see it sitting on your bedside table. You see the there's a group text with people that you met there that they added you to it, and you're like, yeah, add me to it. I might come back out this next weekend, right? And they're all making plans, and you feel just like this pull, you feel just like drawn to like go back there, you know, because it's only there like once a year.
Yeah.
And then there's like other Ren fairs, that are in the area, which is where you can meet up with these people again. But this is like in your backyard. It's close. It's convenient. All week long, you just hear the siren song of that Ren Fair 45 miles south of Austin. You ultimately decide that going back would feel gluttonous and that you've got work to do. You can't
Yeah.
take 2 weekends off in a row. You're like, I
No.
just I just can't. You text a
No.
group chat, you're like, hey guys, sorry, I just can't this weekend. I gotta work. And you're like, hey, I know that there's a fair in RF coming up in Houston in like 2 months. Or you guys and the conversation changes and you're like making plans for the future. So you're working the weekend, right? Shows go fine. Friday night, shows go fine. Saturday night. It's kind of quiet on 6th Street. Probably more quiet than normal anyways. It doesn't really affect you, but normally you come out and like it's a fucking zoo. But on your end where the Velve is at, where it's kind of close to the highway and out of like where it really gets gnarly on 6th Street
Yeah,
sometimes,
for sure.
you don't see it as much. And your end of 6th Street is pretty quiet. As you
Michael
go,
Michael Park would say it's deader than Julius Caesar.
he says that as he's like, he's kind of standing outside. The last of the crowd is dissipating. He's like pulling beer up, right? He uh he says that he walks by, he goes, it's better than Julius Caesar out there. Puts the beer on the bar. There's a soft voice that you hear. And it's like a soft woman's voice in like a curious accent, almost like a German accent. You
Okay.
hear, you hear, you hear a woman going, Michael, Michael. And he goes, what the fuck? And he steps out from behind the bar. And you hear him go, hey, Greta. He brings this woman into the Velve, Greta.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
like probably in her in her mid to late 20s. Uh
Greta.
she very pale, so almost gaunt in her features. She looks like somebody who could stand to, put on a couple of LBs,
Okay.
you know. Michael says to her, he's like I'm finishing up this beer. I'll be outside in just a minute. He goes back to doing his job. You introduce yourself, you say a friend of Michael's is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of talking to her. She has like her eyes are like all like if you feel like they're always open. They're big blue doe eyes. She just
Yeah.
like she has like an intensity about her that you find like very interesting. Sometimes you meet someone who has like just an intensity, the way that they carry themselves and they communicate. It's like you're the only person in the room,
Okay.
and you feel like you can feel somebody actively listening, you know, and you feel that with her. And you guys talk for a few minutes. Uh, Michael comes back out. He's on his cell phone. He goes, "I'll be right there." Right. And he kind of looks at Greta. He goes, Greta, I'm sorry, I gotta go. There's been an incident.
Oh no.
You see him pull a snub nose pistol from his sock,
Oh,
and he
Michael.
goes, Pat, close it up. and he just runs out of the fucking door, his ponytail waving behind him.
Holy shit.
You kind of like walk outside, you look on the fucking sidewalk of 6th Street
Yeah.
just to see where he's going. And when you get out there and turn, you don't see him, but you do see smoke billowing up from the ground.
Uh,
You think that's weird. So Greta like
yeah.
follows you outside, and again, like just an interesting conversation with an intense woman, and you feel like compelled to open up to her right away. She's just one of those people, you know.
Oh,
It's just
sure. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
sometimes you meet somebody and you just like instantly click with them, you know.
Yeah. Instant trust.
Instant, yeah. So you're like talking, and you realize like you've been doing all the talking, right? She's just like drawn all of this out of you. You were talking about the Valve and doing comedy and all this stuff. And you kind of like for the first time, now that you're like outside of the Valve, you kind of realize like, oh, I don't know anything about you, you know?
Yeah.
And she goes, in this German sort of accent, she goes, oh, you ask her like, where are you from? And she goes, oh, I live just outside of Austin. She goes, actually my brother is here with me too. And you see like a similarly gaunt, pale man who looks to be, around the same approximate age, mid late 20s, whatever. He kind of stands up and you could tell that he's like a little more animated than she is.
Yeah. Okay.
He goes, we live just outside of town. He goes, once a year, these people come and take over our property for a fair. And he goes, normally we stay with our aunt, but she's not home. And so we just kind of left and we wandered into Austin. He's like, I've never been here before. He's like, we don't leave. He's like,
What?
yeah, he's like, we stick at our property. He goes, it has everything we need. We have our family around us. We visit them. He goes, I don't come to the city. He goes, I was here once when I was a kid and he looked at Greta and he goes, when mom and dad brought us here because Uncle Franklin was sick. And she's like, oh my God, I haven't thought about this and that in forever. He goes,
Man,
but that's
these
the
are
only time we've been to Austin. And he's
what
like
the
he's like
fuck?
visibly shaken, you
Yeah, it
know
seems
and then
like
you
it.
kind of realize like the look on her face probably is not necessarily one it could be she's like in shock by her surroundings.
Oh, weird.
And they're like, and he stands up, he's like, honestly, man, we're lost. He goes, I'm so turned around, I don't know how to get out of town.
Fucking, of course, Michael has already left before all this nonsense happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you trying to go?
He's like, there's a Renaissance fair on our property right now. He goes, if you can just get us home, like, we'll be okay.
Okay. I mean, do you have a car? I mean, you need directions? I don't understand what you're.
He says, he goes, I don't know anything, man. He goes, we're not from here. He's like,
Do you
he
have
goes,
a car or not?
he goes, no. He goes, we
Okay.
walked in. He goes, we walked. We've been walking for
Jesus.
days. We just
Okay.
wandered into Austin.
All
And
right,
Greta
man.
kind of looks at you. She's like, anything you could do to help would be incredible.
Oh my fuck. Absolutely. No, I'll call you an Uber or something. I mean, if you want or something, but I'm absolutely not getting involved with any of this. This is so intense. This is way too much. I have too much going on, man.
So
I don't even know you.
you tell him like, so they tell you like, we live south of Austin. There's a Renaissance fair. That's like all I know. He goes, I don't even know what direction we're going.
Why don't you know anything?
He's like, we don't leave. And he kind of like puts his head in his hands and he starts to like sob a little bit. He's
Oh
like,
my God.
he's like, I can't tell you how scared I am right now.
Oh my God.
And he says we came here because we knew Michael worked here. And he goes, Michael told us that you're a good man. Greta looks up at you and she goes, Pat, can we trust you to help us?
Oh man. I
You know where
guess.
you know where you know where it is.
Yeah, I know
right?
where it
So you're like,
is.
I guess
45 miles.
45 minutes.
Oh,
So,
minutes. Okay.
it's not
Then
like,
yeah, okay, that's fine then. Yeah, that's fine.
you know,
Let me just clean.
and
Okay,
you're
I
already
gotta.
driving south.
Okay, so let's just finish cleaning up the valve, and then let's
Yeah.
leave because Mike had to leave, and then we'll leave, and then
You
I'll drive you
leave,
home. Whatever. God
you
damn, this
leave,
fucking guy.
you clean up, right? You finish, you lock up the valve. You're like, wait here. You go and get your car. You pull around to the corner. They get in, and you're like, I think I know where you're talking about, right? So you start driving, right? You pass up your exit off of the interstate, and you just think like, I could have been home in 2 minutes from now or whatever.
Yeah.
You drive, and you're like, it's a little bit of a rural area, right? To get to where you're going. You you turn down like this dirt road that was like pretty close to where, the entrance of the Renaissance Fair was. You're driving along this dirt road at night. You hit just like a big fucking pothole. Bang.
Oh man.
You hear like the thud, 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 thud.
Fucking shit. God damn it.
You feel the vibrations of your busted tire radiate up through the steering column and it shakes your hands.
Oh my god.
You pull off the side of the road, right?
Uh,
Greta's like, what's happening? And you're like, I blew a fucking tire. You get out. The three of you get out, right?
yeah.
Uh, you're kind of like walking. It's beautiful. You're walking through like this on this like dirt road. You see the moonlight filter in through the canopy of trees. You're kind of walking for a minute, and her brother, he looks at Greta and he goes, "Hey, you remember that old trail that cuts through the trees to get home?" And Greta's like, "Yeah." And then he kind of like he points to an area, and you see that there is like a little bit of a trail that kind of juts off. He goes, "Come with me."
We don't have a spare tire.
You don't have a
Ah.
spare tire? You took it out because yeah, there was a so Fleshlight has like sponsored stuff for comedy before,
Yeah, of course.
and yeah, they sponsored a show that you did,
Okay.
and nobody showed up for it. It was
Okay.
like very poorly promoted, right? And the bit was that like everybody in the crowd got a free fleshlight. And so they're like, "Well, you guys just take them." And you were like putting them in your car and you had no more room and you look down at that spare tire and go, "What are the odds?" And you threw it out. And then you filled the void with other fleshlights. So you had like 188 of them in your car, right? So you go to like you lift up the panel and there's just like seven fleshlights there.
Ah, you only need one.
I mean, that's what you thought, but you have definitely burned through more than one since you got all of them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you call this
Oh
one
man.
lucky. You call this one lucky number 11 after that movie.
Yeah. Ugh.
You had just used
Ah.
the last use of the sixth one, and it was still warm, and you like
Jesus.
threw it in your trash can, and you think, all right, time to start the day, and you turn on your TV and lucky number 11 was playing as you like unsheathed the next one to have it ready by your bedside.
Yeah.
You pulled it out of the box and you go and you just a smile comes across your face.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, there's no spare tire in there. But Greta's like, it's okay. She goes, I remember this trail from when we were young.
All
She
right.
goes, follow us.
What a
So you
terrible night.
start you start following them, right? Again through this thicket of trees, through the woods. It's a little bit of it's a tighter path. It's something that's like not as well worn as like this main road. You're kind of walking for like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and you see like light flickering up ahead, right? And the boy, he goes, there it is. He's like, I told you. And Greta, she's like, Hansel, you're always right. So you walk up to this house.
Ah,
You walk up to this house
son
and
of
you
a
see that it is
fuck.
like lit up, right?
Yeah.
You guys have to like cut your way through this
Oh my God.
you have to cut your way through this like wall of like ivy, sort of branches and bush. And you come out into like a yard that is like maintained, and you break through it and you smell that hog on the air from the neighboring campsite. And you think that is from the campsite because you're so close. And then you look up and you see smoke coming out of their chimney. And she goes, Pat, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
She goes, will you come inside?
Yeah, yeah, I got to figure out how I'm getting home. So yeah, I probably would come in for a second.
Hansel, he goes, let me look in the garage.
Okay.
He goes into the garage. You and Greta kind of like stand there in the moonlight. And she really is beautiful.
Yeah.
And she has like beautiful features. And you see like this sort of relief wash over her face now that she's like home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she goes, Pat, you didn't have to do this. She goes, I can't thank you enough. She said all the wonderful things that Michael Park said about you are true.
Okay. Thank you.
She goes, is there any way that I can possibly repay you?
No, no, man, I'm good. Thank you. Well, maybe you can help me figure out how to get home because I don't have a spare tire. Well, I guess I could just take like an Uber or something. I could probably call a car. But
You pull
then
your
what's gonna
That's what you
happen to
say.
my
You
car on the
pull
side
your
of the
phone
road?
out
Yeah.
and there's like no signal, there's no service. You're like out in the woods. She goes, we don't get signal out here. I'm sorry. She goes, we're not fancy like you guys in the big city. She giggles and blushes a little, brushes the hair out of her eyes.
Oh,
And she
Greta.
looks she looks up with you with again, beautiful blue eyes with moonlight glinting off of them.
Yeah.
And she leans in and she kisses you.
Jeez.
You feel her mouth pressed to yours. You feel her arms around your neck and she melts into your body. It's like the most passionate kiss of your lifetime.
Jeez.
She pulls away, tears fall from her eyes. She says, Pat, I'm so sorry.
What?
And then you're hit in the back of the head with a
No.
tire iron by Hansel. Hits you in the back of the head, knocking you unconscious. He drags you into the house by your feet. He's just bouncing your head off of the stairs, and then he
Oh,
throws your body into the oven, and they cook your body. And then Hansel and Greta eat your body on the front porch. They eat your body. They use the fuel from your body to go take back their land, and then they turn on the Renaissance Fair and kill everybody
oh
inside, including
no,
all of your
really?
friends. Yeah,
Oh,
all your
fuck.
friends who are there for the second weekend die. They're
Michael.
texting. Your phone is going off in the middle of Hansel and Greta's front lawn. Your group chat is blowing up, and they're like, "Pat, help us! Like somebody's taking over." And it's just like a true account of like them being slaughtered by these two kids who are
Oh
tired of
my
having their home
God.
taken every year by you fucking idiot people at the rent fair. As soon as they're all done, your phone goes silent, and then it
Yeah.
it uh, it goes off one more time, and it's a text from Michael Park, and it just says, "Sorry, I had to go. Killed a man." And then Hansel finds it in the front yard. He throws it. He takes the SIM card out, and
Yeah.
he just throws the phone right into the fucking creek.
Yeah. Oh man. Man. God damn. What an unbelievably unpleasant experience that was.
Yeah,
That fucking sucks so bad.
yeah.
Michael, where does he meet people like this?
I was just Sixth Street people. And he's an actor.
Okay.